Hello, hello. My name is Grace, and I'm the director of Gracie Publishing. We publish children's books, and I am here with the author of our first children's book. And the children's book is called Georgia's Most Favorite Thing. Yay! I love it. I love it. And I am here with Gwen Juvenal, the author, and I just wanted to ask a few questions to help introduce her to the readership and to help them become more engaged in what's going on with Gracie Publishing. So thank you for being here.
It's an honor, Grace. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Um, I guess the first question for me is this was written quite a while ago. Could you please explain to us how that came about? What made you desire to create a book like this?
Okay, well, yes, like you said, it started, the first draft of it was written over 25 years ago, and when my kids were tiny, tiny, and it was one of those things. I had been writing for quite a while, but had really keyed into children's books, and I was really enjoying the process. But one of the things I was asking myself is, what do I want to be sharing my with my kids? Because I had young children at that time, and one thing that occurred really inspired this book. And what occurred was my son Ben had a goldfish, and it was his first pet, and it died, and he found it, and we got to bury it. But the pain that he felt was so extreme. I could feel his heart was just being pulled apart from how sad he was. And so I was asking myself, what could I do to help my children and other children deal with loss and to walk through it and able to come out the other end? And so that was the inspiration of the first draft, and it went through a few iterations. I processed it through a person who works with children's books, but it never fully got published, and I kind of put it on the back burner when I became a single mom and was trying to take care of everything. And when Ben became 18, and when he was in high school, senior, he was in AP art, and it's something that I'd encouraged him to do all of his life. And so when that time came, he had just moved in with his dad because we were divorced, and it was a way for me to connect. But it was one of those things that I felt like, wow, this is kind of destiny. I actually hired him to create the illustrations for this, and I loved the process because something so beautiful. He knew how to really show the heart of what was going on, and so I'm so pleased with how it turned out.
That's amazing. So, I believe a lot of your children are artistic in nature. Is that right?
Yeah, all of them do art in one way or another, and some of them focus on it more than others. And they're just very creative. It makes sense. I went back and got a bachelor's in art, so I myself am really creative in nature. But yeah, so it doesn't fall far from the tree. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Do you want to talk just a little bit more about this idea of loss and the theme of loss and what you wanted to accomplish with this book?
That's a great question. I think for me, really, when I think about loss, and I've experienced a lot of different loss, um, one thing that I really wanted to accomplish with this, number one, was how we can comfort and assist each other, talking about how we can assist each other when we are feeling that kind of pain, and also just this process that we can come to of recognizing that a part of the light and the joy that we feel when we are with another and we're in that beautiful play, that it's within us and the magic is within us. And I wanted to help people see that when those times are gone, oftentimes we we connect with an object and think it is the thing that creates the experience for us. But the reality is the magic is within us. And I really wanted people to be able to identify and see that, be grateful for the experience that they've had and the beauty in it, but recognize that the magic is within us and that we have the beauty and the power to continue on and create more of that magic in our lives. And that's what the purpose of it was for me.
Wonderful. One thing that really stood out to me as I was going through this whole process of publishing, I get to look at a book over and over and over again. And this idea of allowing this mourning process to take place and not being scared of that, because you understand that you have the power within, you have light within, that you can release and let go of and express that pain. And then after that takes place, then joy can reappear and new experiences can happen within your life. And I thought that that was beautifully illustrated in the book. Yeah, I wanted to share actually two of my favorite images in this book, and it doesn't do justice to it. But here's this image of, here he is, and after he's cried and cried and cried, and here he is looking over back into the city from the dump, and he sees the sun coming up in the morning, and his light starts to be revealed that's inside of him, and his desire to play and his desire to find joy again and to experience joy again. And then I love this one. And the reason why I love this one is you look at the eyes, you see the ducky, right? That he recognizes. The ducky is the item that he gets to replace the first thing that he loves the most. And so he's thinking about the ducky, and he's wanting to actually have joyful experiences. But then also in the reflection of the eyes, you can see the sun rising as well. And I love that image. It's so beautiful. There are lots of great images in that book, but to be able to create that and do so effectively and with watercolor, and watercolor is not easy at times, that's tricky.
Yes. Yeah. I was so pleased with that. Being able to sit across from my son and talk about that image that I had, that in my brain, feeling like, what if it looked like the ducky too, and the sun was shining because the ducky is yellow, and and can you make that happen or whatever? And it was so beautiful. I was so impressed with how he was able to portray all of the situations and the emotion of this dog that was so deep, I just absolutely adored it. And I love what you brought up with, at the end of this book, it really talks about him expanding in his experience, because oftentimes when things are the same, we go through the same routines, and it shows at the beginning of the book, you see this routines, the things that he does with this ball. But as he comes home, he starts trying a few new things with this new thing, this new toy that was his. And I love that you brought it up too, because even though he thinks after this point, like, oh my gosh, there's this thing that I can come play with and I want to have fun with it. But still at the end, he recognized that his most favorite thing was his light, was his spark, that even though he had a new toy to play with and he had these friends, that there was a certain recognition within him that it was his light, it was his joy that was his most favorite thing. I think that was another one of the points that I was wanting to make, was that we can start recognizing, the items that we have, even though they bring us joy, we can still know that our light is of utmost importance. So,
and not just, items, but, sometimes relationships come and go, and someone comes into your life for a certain amount of time and then they're out of it, or loved ones might die, or different things like that. And to understand that we still have that joy inside. We can still remember those times, but we still have that joy, and it gives us courage, and it provides a resilience that is so important in our lives that are constantly changing. And,
Yeah.
you know, where we're living, what's surrounding us, what items we have, the people, the things that are around us that we cherish, and that those shift, you know, and they change. But that we have a light, a power within us to help us go through that process and those shifts and changes. And so I think it's a beautiful book. I want to congratulate you on this wonderful book and
Mm.
that we get to publish this. And I definitely hope that people will take advantage of this and watch the video or purchase the book and share it with those that they love and really have some meaningful conversations about change and loss and resilience and the power that we have inside of us. So
Mm.
thank you so much, Gwen. Is there anything you want to leave the readers with?
Oh, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this process with me. This has been a deep, deep dream of my heart, and it's so fun to see it come to life. And I'm excited to see other people reading it. Even when I've shared it with my friends, adults, you know, they after they read it, they'll turn back to me after a few minutes or the day later, and they'll say, "That was a really good book." I hope
Isn't
that
that
a
a
lot of
great
people read that
experience?
book. And it's so fun to see adults respond to it and say, "Wow, this is a really cool book." And I can't help but think too. I know you have an experience. You read it to your granddaughter, um,
Yes.
and just the kind of conversation that you were able to have with her. I hope that so many people have those conversations talking about the feelings that they have when they lose things or what's of value to them and how they can still feel the love in their hearts when things are going hard for them or they're missing that very thing that they love. So,
That's beautifully put. It was such a natural conversation with my grandchild, with reading the book and them expressing these feelings, and they're very much attached to things, and they like things to stay the same, and for them that's a very, very difficult thing, and for them to naturally want to express some experiences that they had and about loss and that kind of experience was really touching to me, and it helped me understand how powerful this book can be.
yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you all who buy the book and leave a review. That means the world to me. And I hope that your family and those you care about enjoy it forever.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we hope that you continue to follow us and become an avid reader of what we share with you here at Gracie Publishing. Thank you. Bye.